Well, I was injured coming out of an event that an employer event where we were required to go to at a restaurant for a meeting, and I stumbled coming out when we were over with, and I asked my employer about helping me with the medical expenses because I wound up with a sprained ankle and having to buy an air boot and some other things, and they said, well, I wasn't on the clock, so I wasn't going to be covered.
Oh, wow.
Doug? Let's think about
Yeah, that's a developing area of workers' comp law. You have a couple different issues going on, and this is something that you're really going to need to talk to an attorney about because it is a new area of law, and there's cases coming out on it probably this year, and it's not just the fact that you might not have been on the clock, but it's also the fact of you were leaving whatever the event was. So there's going to be some pretty complicated issues in the case. And the insurance company, their go-to, especially in that kind of situation, is going to be to deny the claim. And the only real way to get around that is to, you have to go in front of a judge, and the workers' comp system it's just very complicated. And you have, unfortunately, two additional wrinkles to the regular complicated workers' comp case. And so I would get an attorney, and you're going to have to go into all of those details. But it's going to be very important to just make sure that whatever you're telling doctors and everybody else is very consistent. And before you go too far down the road, I would get somebody to make sure that you understand what you're doing, because everything you do from the time you're injured forward can have an impact on your case and your benefits.
Yeah, I think that, and a lot of I don't know the extent of it, but sometimes in those initial meetings with clients, they're going to describe an injury, and again, whether Lamar's injury is just a sprained ankle that recovers relatively quickly, or if it's something that's more serious, sometimes you don't know at this point in time. But I think those early decisions on filing, you're sitting down, you're talking about the severity of those injuries, and sometimes the employer should do something, or the insurer should do something, but and hiring an attorney may get them to do those things, but that might not be the best thing for the claim. In the end, you might win the battle but lose the war, and sometimes it's just important to, and I think Doug's right. You got to sit down and talk with an attorney and go through all those details and figure out, what's the best path for the employee, not necessarily how to check the box and say they should be doing that one fact. So,
especially if you're at an off-site work-related event.